everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Isabel Palacios. I am here in El Yunque National Rainforest in Rio Grande, Puerto Rico. I've been loving just having nature as my backdrop for my videos, so I hope you guys don't mind. I mean, I feel so much better just being out here in nature. I literally have my feet in the fresh water right now touching the pebbles, so it is lovely. And I actually wanted to do a Q&A. I asked you guys on my Instagram about any of your love and dating questions, all in the goddess energy. You guys know I'm all about love and dating in the goddess energy, especially in dating, especially because that's the place where we usually give away our power a lot more easily than we think. I feel like this video is going to be a little long, so I'm going to get into these questions. Thank you guys who submitted. I'm going to start with the very first one submitted. How can you adapt to big cultural differences when dating someone? I think that it's about learning and loving the other person's culture, getting immersed in their culture, and also having them immersed in your culture. At the end of the day, we're all human, and even though we have cultural differences, I think that should be seen as a positive thing. For me, I was born in the States and my parents are from Colombia and Guatemala, but my fiance, he's from Puerto Rico. He's from this island. He has a very different culture. Even though we're Latino, we have some similarities in our culture. Our culture can be very different, especially since I was born and raised over there. And I speak primarily English, he speaks primarily Spanish. So it's been something beautiful to have our cultures mesh together, especially now with our daughter. I want to teach her all the things from my culture and all the things from his culture and keep those things alive. I think it's beautiful to marry two cultures together. I mean, that's what my parents did, and not see it as a bad thing. Really embrace that. Somebody asked, any experience with being infatuated by an older man? Older in the sense maybe like 15 years older. I dated somebody, but it wasn't serious, and I really wasn't interested in that. I prefer maximum 10 years. 5 years is a good place for me. That's the difference between my fiance and I. So yeah, I haven't had that experience. This is a question I've gotten a lot. Sex and being single as a female. We have sexual needs. Any advice? So my advice probably won't be as, I guess, conventional, I would say. But there is a lot of power, especially for me, in healing. There's a lot of power in healing and a lot of power in love and manifestation when you are able to be abstinent. Those sexual needs and urges that we think we have, a lot of it is physical, right? Our physical self. But I always believe our spiritual, our mental self is a lot stronger than those physical urges. The problem with those physical urges, ladies, is that if we don't bring them under control, and this goes for men too, this goes for anyone, if we don't bring those things under control and you're trying to heal yourself and you feel like you're constantly jumping from relationship to relationship, that you are, sleeping around, and you want to heal those aspects and you want to get away from that. Of course, it's not for everyone. Not everyone's going to resonate with that, and that's okay. But you really have to get to this place where you can tame and you can control your sexual urges and not be controlled by them. Because when you're controlled by them, you are easily manipulated, you easily fall for people. And this is the thing about us women. As much as people want to be like, oh, you can have casual sex has its cons. I mean, there's no way for us, the way we're wired, to have sex with somebody and not form a connection. The thing is, if you want to live and you want to manifest somebody in a true love, your sexual power is so important. It is so powerful. If we don't learn how to control it and learn who we allow into our energy space, if we're not clear and intentional about who we share that sexual energy with, then we're going to feel powerless in our relationships. We're going to feel drained when we sleep with somebody, and you don't want that. So if you're single, practice abstinence in every sense of the word. At first, you're probably going to feel weird and out of sorts. It's okay. Anytime you start something new, it's going to feel that way. But see how more focused you'll be in different areas of your life, and how more intentional and clear you'll be with other people. You're not just going to fall for the first person. You'll be more discerning, and you'll feel more powerful in your femininity if you do. So that's my take. I know it's probably not going to be popular. Our culture is just super sexualized and everything is about sex. But when you really hone into that and you see it for what it is, a sacred, powerful energy, you won't be sharing it just with anyone or anything. Next question, how can I stop fighting with my partner over silly things? I think whenever we fight over silly things, there's something at the root. There's something we're not addressing. Usually we'll be petty or we'll fight over silly things because there's a bigger issue that needs to be addressed or a bigger need that's not being met. So if your needs aren't being met by your partner, definitely have that conversation ASAP with them. Sit them down. Make sure that you're able to have communication with your partner, because the pettiness starts whenever we can't be open and we have to find other outlets to vent our frustration or our anger or whatever resentment we have. So definitely talk about it and figure out what's at the root of that pettiness or the fighting. Why do some people have it easy in dating and others struggle so much? I don't think that we should be comparing our journeys to other people. I think that that's where we get in a bad place mentally, is in comparison with anything, whether it's your love life or your car or the way you look. Comparing yourself with other people is only going to make you lose focus on your own journey and not enjoy your journey, which I made a whole video on trusting in your journey. Not comparing yourself to others, and instead, look, I'm here at the river from that that I talked about, but look, here I'm at this river and it's nice and calm and it's beautiful. It might have not been like this yesterday or the day before, but it's like that today, so I'm enjoying this spot here in this river, right? So if you're having struggle and difficulty right now in dating, it has nothing to do with, oh, what's her face has it easier, or what's her face has it easier than me, or she has it easier because she's this, or they're more privileged than I am. I don't believe in looking at things like that. I believe in honoring your journey. Now, if you're struggling, that is a sign that you need to go within and heal. Stop trying to distract yourself from the work that needs to be done. If you're struggling, it's about you and what you've been through and your traumas in your past, and not about anyone else's. This is a good question. How do you calm down if you keep waiting but he is not coming? So I don't believe in waiting. I don't believe in that. I think that waiting is a very draining energy, right? Imagine being in a waiting room, like a doctor's waiting room, waiting for your soulmate. That is boring. That is not fun. And I don't think any woman in her divine feminine, in her goddess energy, should be waiting on somebody. Instead, you should be out living your life. When I say out, I don't mean like, oh, you have to go out and drink, go to bars. No, none of that. But enjoying your life, living your life, experiencing new things, learning new things, meeting new people. That way you don't feel drained by waiting. I mean, there's nothing to wait for. Your person will come to you at the right time when it's meant to be. You just have to trust in your journey, trust that things are aligning. And somebody pointed out in my video that I uploaded, the first video I uploaded coming back about trusting your journey, is how I used to talk in my videos and when I was single and say things like, oh, I know the right one is out there for me. I just haven't met him yet, right? And I've known that. And it's not that some bird came and told me, or, you know, this and that. I mean, intuitively, I've always known there would be somebody out there for me. But also, I put that intention out and I spoke it into existence and I said it because that made me live my life that way and not be waiting for somebody or hoping or wishing, and instead living my life at ease, calm. So what I would say is keep your life full of things that you enjoy. You don't have to distract yourself or anything like that, but keep your life full of things that you enjoy and things that you love to do with the people you love to be with, whether that's friends or family or on your own. Take adventures every now and then and see how things feel and see how you'll become more aligned with yourself. And when you become more aligned with your true self, all those things just fall into line. Your career, your finances, your love life, your health, all those things. But you have to come to this place of enjoying you. And if you've been single for a while, for years, it's okay. It's normal and it's natural and it's a part of everyone's journey. And enjoy it. Enjoy it. As somebody who now has a baby, I'm gonna tell you, I do miss my single days every now and then because it was just freedom all the time. I had so much time and now I don't. So take that as a sign. Enjoy your time. Insecurities that come with dating a man with kids, dealing with the ex. So I think number one with this is asking yourself why you feel insecure. What about the situation is triggering you? It could be, ladies, that they're dealing with their ex, they're talking with their ex, maybe they're still kind of talking like flirty around each other. And if there's some kind of weird energy there, best to stay away, because a lot of times what we think of as insecurities are our intuition or just things that don't look right, and then we're being gaslit by our partner. I hope that's not happening to you, but we're being gaslit by our partner telling us, oh, there's nothing between me and her. oh, we're just friendly, blah, blah, whatever. You know, it's always, when there's an ex involved in children, there can always be something that's you have to be vigilant for. I'm gonna say it could definitely happen, but if their ex is in another relationship and they haven't been together in years and they're friendly, then the insecurity is coming from within you. That maybe you have a fear of being cheated on, you have a fear of this, fear of that. But if you sense weird vibes, definitely have a talk with your partner and don't ignore them. This is a really good question. How to know when it's the right time to give it away? I would say if you feel pressured into it, if you feel like the other person is pressuring you, it's not a good time. When you feel ready, I know people are like, oh, after the second date, after the third date. I know people who have been with somebody from the first date and got intimate on the first date and they're married now and they have children, right? And it's different for everyone, but I think you should really go with yourself. If you are wanting to be in a long-term commitment with somebody, it definitely does not hurt to wait. And you weed out the people who aren't for you. I heavily believe that the man for you, the person for you, will wait for you and will not try to pressure you, and they'll enjoy it. They'll enjoy the chase. A man in his masculine enjoys that chase, right? And there's gonna be men who, once you sleep with them and you're like, oh, I waited all of this and then he ghosted me, take that as a sign. Thank God that person is not for me. That is not a man in his masculine, and you got saved, right? God saved you from this situation. So take it as a good sign if they ghost you, that that person isn't for you. And don't take it personally, because people who ghost are so immature and so lazy. You don't want that person in your life, right? All right, next question, how to solve conflicts in a healthy manner. I often find myself being so angry. So definitely, if you feel really angry with your partner, take some time to breathe and spend some time alone and decompress. Do not speak or yell or have conversations while angry. I always feel like those are always counterproductive. If I ever feel angry or upset, I don't try to force myself to have different emotions. I instead take a break, kind of go through those emotions, not try to push them on my partner. Even if he's the one who got me upset, I try to let myself just work through my emotions first and then come back and have a conversation and say, listen, it was not okay that you did this and that. And I may go silent on him for a little bit if I'm angry, and he will notice it, and he's like, let's talk. So we'll talk and try to have a healthy conversation that way. But definitely the yelling and screaming, I'm not into it. I don't like it. I have seen that a lot in people's relationships around me, and I don't like it. So I don't like to bring that energy into my relationship. Instead, I breathe things out and I work through them. What's a healthy relationship to you? A healthy relationship for me is definitely one where we can communicate, where we can talk, where we can be open and honest with each other and be kind and loving to each other as well. Not be, insulting each other and then the next day be like nothing happened. No, we really take our words and what we say to each other seriously, and words have weight, words have consequences, and so I'm very careful with the words I say, and he is too. It's being honest with each other about what's going on, being very clear on our boundaries and things like what's considered cheating, what's considered, disrespectful, all these things. Being in the same place mentally, we have to be going in the same direction in life and wanting the same things. That is very good to have. And also trust. Trust is so important. We have to trust our partner with our eyes closed. And that's something with my fiance, is I can trust him in anything. I can trust him to do a good job. If I ask him to do something for me, I can trust him to be there when I ask him to. I can trust him for so many things, and that came with time, obviously, but I learned to trust him because his words were always backed up by his actions, and that to me was amazing. So definitely trust, communication, boundaries, respect, having respect for each other, mutual respect, and love, right? Unconditional love, because there's going to be some days where your partner is going to be annoying and insufferable, and you have to lovingly be able to navigate that. And so will you. We're not perfect either. So, any advice to meet quality men if you are in a new country and don't like using dating apps? Well, I think since you're in a new country, that's even better. That's amazing. You don't need dating apps. I think it's just about getting out more and exploring more, meeting new people. I have never been on a dating app, And I think that dating apps, in my opinion, and I know people are gonna be like, oh, I met my fiance, my partner, whatever, on dating apps. I know there's success stories, just like anything, there's always going to be, oh, well, I turned out fine, whatever. But as a rule of thumb, I have never been on a dating app because I didn't like that energy of, I'm like a product, you have to choose me, or say I'm positive or I'm negative, swipe left, swipe right. I don't think that is conducive to the goddess energy at all. I think that it puts women in a chasing energy, which is taking away your divine feminine energy, which is not your goddess energy. And instead, forget dating apps exist, right? Forget dating apps exist. That is my number one piece of advice. If you don't rely on them, if you don't need them, you're more likely to go out and meet people in the real world where you are more likely to be able to gauge their energy, to know what they're about, and you're not going to be in this weird energy of dating or whatever. Can you expect your partner to be perfect, or is that egotistical? We're humans. Nobody's going to be perfect. I'm not perfect. Odds are you're not perfect. So to expect a perfect partner is just putting limits on things. Instead, focus on finding somebody who feels good to you, whose energy aligns, and who doesn't feel like a chore, right? Who feels like rest, who feel calm, who feel good. Definitely don't put limits on people and try to put people in a box or expect perfection, because you're only going to be a disappointment. Don't date people looking for perfection. Date people looking for their energy and feeling their energy, and see what makes you feel good. Partners who have different political views, could it work? Yes, I think that, I know people are like, oh, my politics have to be, I mean, everyone thinks that they have the moral high ground when it comes to politics, that they're right and others are wrong. I think you can really learn from people who have different political views, and I wouldn't shy away from somebody just because they do. Now, morality and values, yeah, that's really important. So don't start to block people just because, oh, they this and that. I think we could really learn from others. And if you feel like morally and your values don't align, well, then that's probably not a good relationship in the first place. But I mean, I've dated people with different political views, and it all came down to, how do we mesh? How's our energy? How is our values? All that. I'm gonna answer one more question because my camera's overheating because it is hot and humid here. So, what was your single life like before you met your fiance? It was definitely me just living my life. I wasn't on dating apps. I wasn't really actively looking to date anyone. I was just enjoying my single time because I had ended a really serious relationship. I took almost 2 years before I met him, and those 2 years I did date, you know, a person, and things didn't work out for a good reason, but I wasn't actively trying to meet anyone or actively trying. Everything just happened super organically and super just naturally, and that's the way I wanted it. I didn't want to meet anyone on a dating app. Like I said before, act like dating apps don't exist, and I didn't. And this is from somebody who worked from home. You know, I didn't really, I'm super, out and about at bars and stuff like that. Not at all. I traveled a lot, definitely. And I will say, just filling your life with experiences and the things that you love to do will put you in that vibration to meet people. Don't put pressure on yourself to do so. So yes, I was enjoying it and really just getting to love myself again, because my self-esteem was really torn down by my previous relationship. I talked about that in my Heal to Love seminar that a lot of you attended, and I think I talked about it in a podcast episode as well. But it's definitely important to fall in love with yourself and fall in love with your life and your journey and honor it, and not feel like crap because you're single. Don't define yourself by your singleness. Yes, people are going to comment and people are going to say stuff. Trust me, I got a ton of comments and things from people like, oh, why aren't you dating? Who are you with? And to me, that was not what defined me as a woman. So definitely make sure that you are pouring all that love and all that energy you want to pour into a relationship into yourself. I'm not going to lie and say that there weren't times where I was lonely. I was definitely lonely at many times, and I just got through the loneliness like you would get through any other emotion. I felt it, and I realized, and I kept telling myself and praying to God that the right person would come to me so that I would not fall into a toxic relationship again, or just fall in love with somebody who wasn't right for me. I told God, I will be single as long as you want me to. Just make sure that the person that you bring to me is the right one for me, and he will be the one. Lo and behold. So that is it for today, my beautiful angels. Thank you so much for the questions. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos from me, and I will see you in my next video.